Hey guys, it's Colin from Brilliant Labs, and welcome to my arcade tutorial using Ionic and Angular. So if you haven't checked out the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript mini tutorials that I've done, then make sure you go and do that. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll paste it in the description. If it's on the LMS, I'll make sure to include that as well. It's not a huge tutorial. The videos in total are about probably like an hour long. It just sort of explains what those three things are. If you even have a basic understanding of what they are already, you don't really need to watch them. But I just figured it would be good to include because we're going to be getting into some more complicated stuff during this tutorial. So as you know, we're going to be building an arcade, and each one of the games are going to have its own leaderboards. So I provided one game that I built in Unity, and we're going to be using that for the purpose of this tutorial. But afterwards, I'm going to be making another tutorial using Unity, and I'm going to show you how to actually make your own game. And then after that, I'm going to show you how to put that game into this if you've already done this tutorial. So there's basically going to be two separate tutorials, and you don't need to do both, but if you decide to, then you'll be able to make your own games and upload them onto your site. For now, I've given you my sample game, so we're going to work with that for the purpose of this tutorial. As you can see in the background, I have Googled Node.js, and this is required in order to run Ionic. So we're going to go down to this Node.js and then click download. So we're going to be using the Windows installer and 64-bit, assuming your machine is 64-bit, most of them are. And then you're going to install Node. I'm not going to because I already installed it, but I will see you as soon as it's done. Okay, so once we have Node.js installed, we're going to hit the Windows key, and then we're going to type in CMD. And you're going to see this command prompt. So we're going to be learning how to use this command prompt a little bit. Now, what the command prompt allows you to do is go between folders on your computer, basically in the exact same way that our File Explorer does. So we're going to open our File Explorer, and we're going to go to this PC, and we're going to click our local disk, and you're going to see we have users and then colon. So we're going to click that. Now you can see over here on the command prompt, I'm just going to do this side by side so it's easier to kind of see what's going on here. You can see the C/users/colon. So that means right now in the command prompt, we are in this folder. And if I type in dir, which stands for directory, it will actually list all of the directories in the folder. So as you can see, it's just the exact same stuff. So then we'll notice that our desktop is in here. So we're going to type in cd, which means change directory, and then we're going to type in desktop. So now we're on our desktop. So now this is where we're going to be creating our folder. So to create a folder, you're going to type in mkdir, which stands for make directory, and then we're going to type in arcade dash tutorial dash Brilliant Labs. Now you can call this whatever you want. I'm just calling this this to make it easy for me to know what it is. And then we're going to hit enter. Okay, so now if we type in cd arcade dash tutorial, if I can spell it right, dash bl, we will be in the folder. So this is where we're going to be putting all of our files. So I'm going to go onto Google and I'm going to type in how to start Ionic project using Angular. And I'm just going to click the first thing. I could have just done this for you, but I want to show you how I figure stuff out. So we're going to scroll down. Installing Ionic tooling, we don't really need that. We need to create an app. So if we bring the command prompt up to here, we can type in Ionic start. We're not going to type in photo gallery because we're not making a photo gallery. We're going to type in arcade dash tutorial dash bl, or whatever you named your folder. It doesn't actually even have to be the folder name, it just kind of makes sense to do it that way. And this one they use tabs. We're going to use blank, and then you're going to do dash dash type equals Angular space dash dash capacitor. What's going on here? So Ionic Start is going to create a brand new Ionic project. We're naming it arcade-tutorial-bl, and we're setting it to a blank project, which means there's not going to be a template provided to us. It's just going to be an empty project. We're setting the type to be Angular. You probably don't know what that means. If you've ever heard of jQuery or something like that, it's just basically a JavaScript framework that allows us to do a lot more with JavaScript than JavaScript has provided with us. And then the -- capacitor adds capacitor, and capacitor allows us to access our phone's API from inside of our Ionic app. An API sounds like a scary word, but all that means is that like we can access our phone's camera, we can access our phone's gallery, and a bunch of different features like that in the phone we can access when we're in mobile mode. So we're going to hit enter, and then it's going to say preparing directory, and it shouldn't take very long for this to happen. Alright, so it looks like it worked. So we're going to type in Ionic space serve, and then we're going to hit enter. Okay, so it looks like we made a little bit of a mistake already. So we're going to go into our arcade-tutorial-bl on our desktop, and you're going to notice inside of it there's another arcade-tutorial-bl. So we're just going to close our command prompt and then make sure this is the right one. So if you see all this stuff in it, that's good. You're going to right click it and click cut, and then we're going to go back to our desktop, and then we're going to paste it with Control V. And then if we double click our arcade tutorial again, all the files should be in it. So we should have done the Ionic Start right from the desktop, and it would have automatically created the folder for us. So now we're going to open our CMD again, and we're going to go CD desktop, CD arcade-tutorial-bl, and then Ionic serve. So what this is going to do is create a server on your machine and put all of our code into that server. Then after that, it's going to pop up the page automatically for you in our local host, which just means like local server, and it'll pop up in your internet browser for you, which is hopefully Google Chrome. Okay, so it took a minute, but it looks like it's working now. So you'll see it says compiled successfully. And now in order for us to use our app, we need to have this command prompt open. So if you close this and then you refresh the page, it'll be broken. So every single time you want to test your app out, you need to make sure you recreate this process. So you're going to notice just says blank, ready to create an app. So now what we need to do is actually edit our code. So you're going to want to make sure that you have Visual Studio Code installed. Visual Studio Code, then click download, and then just download it and then open it, and you should be good to go. Okay, so now I have Visual Studio Code installed and opened. We're going to click open folder, and then arcade-tutorial-bl, and here you will find all of those files from that folder. So now if we click source and then app and then home, you're going to see this home.page.html. So we're going to click that, and you're going to see ready to create an app ? So if we go back to our Ionic app, you're going to see that this is our homepage, and you can even tell just because of up here. So if we edit this to hi, you'll notice it will automatically refresh the page for you, and it will just say hi. So this is one of the many benefits of running this in Ionic. Okay, so we are going to start out by doing a few things in our command prompt. So we're going to hit Control C, and it's going to ask us if we want to terminate our batch job. We're going to click Y and then hit enter. You'll notice now that if we refresh our page, it's not going to load. It's going to give us an error, and that's because we've turned the server off. So that's okay though. Now we're going to type in cd source, or src, sorry. cd app. And now we're going to make a directory, mkdir, called pages. And now if you hit up arrow, it will put the code that you pasted last, or entered last, into here. So then we're just going to get rid of pages, and we're going to type in services. And then finally, we're going to type in components. So now you'll notice we have a components, pages, and services folder. Next, we're going to type in cd pages. And then now we're in our pages folder. We're going to type in ionic generate page minigame dash list. And then we'll hit enter. This is going to create an Ionic page and automatically link things up for you so that you don't really need to get boggled down by what it all means. But if we open our page, you'll notice we now have a bunch of files in it. So this minigames list is what we're going to want to load when we first start up our program. We don't want to load the default home page. So we're going to go to our app-routing module. So here we're going to see three things. Path of home, load the home page module. Path of nothing, redirect to home. And then path of minigames list, open our minigames list. So I'm going to show you what this means. We're going to go cd change directory .. which means previous folder. So this will bring us back to app, but then we need to get two folders back, so we can type in cd again .. and that'll do the last two folders. So now we're in our arcade tutorial BL again. We can type in ionic serve and wait for the server to reboot. Okay, so our server is back up and running. So you're going to see this /home. Now if we type in nothing, so just localhost, and then hit enter, you're going to notice it brings us to /home. And the reason why is because we have this path of nothing redirect to home. So this path basically means what comes after localhost. So we want to start the website on our minigame list. So we're going to say path of nothing redirect to minigame dash list. And now if we put nothing and then hit enter, it'll bring us to our minigame list. And then we can get rid of our home because we're not going to use it. And we can also delete home, the home folder, just by clicking it and then hitting delete. Now we're going to refresh the page and make sure there's no errors with the home folder being deleted. It seems fine. Okay, so now we're going to start building our minigame list.